Hello everybody and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode of New Music Weekly, the show where I give you guys the weekly news that's happening in the prog world, also some new prog singles to check out, and updates on the channel, what's happening here on Nathan on Shuffle. I will admit I've been on a little bit of a break the last couple weeks, just combination of factors, haven't had as much time to film, just hasn't been a lot of news coming out that's particularly excited me, and so a little bit of a slow run the last couple weeks for the channel, but hopefully things will start ramping up as we get closer to the end of the year content. I'm still planning to do all the same countdowns and talking about my favorite records of the year, so excited to get into that. I'm already doing my listen through of all my favorite records from throughout the year, peppering in some of the new releases from these last couple months, and it's been a really fun time. So but I have a few things to talk about today that I'm excited to get into. It's October 24th, 2025, and firstly, I like to talk about the newest releases, the albums that came out this weekend and last, since I didn't do a show last weekend. There really isn't a lot from my point of view. Let me know in the comments if there's just a wealth of stuff that I'm totally missing out on, but from the things that my fellow YouTubers and friends talk about, I know that An Abstract Illusion came out with The Sleeping City last weekend on the 17th of October. More of a heavy progressive metal, death metal leaning album with a lot of those kind of harsher vocals. Not really totally my thing, but I know a lot of people who love prog metal are really singing the praises of this record, so I wanted to mention it. This weekend, Leprous is releasing their live album, An Evening of Atonement. So look out for that if you're interested in a live record from the group. They have a track on my prog singles list called Passing that is a great live performance to showcase this release if you're interested and curious. Leprous are a great modern prog metal band on InsideOut Records, and this will be a cool new release for them, a great live album to check out if you're into the band or into the prog metal scene at large. And as a reminder, my prog singles list is a big, massive YouTube playlist that I've put together of all of the cool singles that have come out in the world of progressive rock this year. And I'll refresh it when the new year comes about. But a lot of great stuff if you're looking for prog recommendations and new songs to check out. Psychonaut is another more prog metal leaning outfit that released Worldmaker. I believe shades of like post-metal, a little bit of harsh vocals there as well. So if you're interested in that. Flaming Row is coming out with the record Keeper of the Scriptures. I believe the official release date now is October 25th, which is tomorrow from the date I'm recording this. But I believe their album's up and available on Bandcamp. They're available for CD ordering as well, so check that one out. A great sprawling, concept record with many different guest vocalists and musicians, helmed by Martin Schnella, I believe is his name, incredible multi-instrumentalist, great vocals, great stuff going on there. If you're into that prog metal concept record, think a la like Arion Project, that will be interesting. Randy McStein also, who's a notable musician in the prog space, playing a lot with Steven Wilson and Porcupine Tree, but also has a pretty elaborate solo career, is releasing his EP My Summer Holiday this weekend. So check that one out as well. It's available on Bandcamp only, I believe, at this moment. But 4 tracks that he's been working on over this past summer, and I really like his sound and aesthetic. So those are some of the recent releases that I'm aware of. Now getting into the prog news proper, Gazpacho share a new single, We Are Strangers, from their forthcoming new album. Their new album is called Magic 8 Ball, coming next weekend on October 31st. And they're a highly regarded prog band, playing a bit more of an atmospheric kind of expansive sound, much more cinematic. They do a lot of concept records. Think Marillion is a good jumping off point for what they may sound like, but really beautiful, really expansive cinematic music, and I'm excited to check out their new record Magic 8 Ball. I think it's going to be really fantastic, coming out next weekend on K-Scope. So check that one out. That's their 12th studio record, and We Are Strangers on my prog singles list is a great taste of what to expect from the record. The second single from the album, and a really cool one at that. Martin Barre, of Jethro Tull fame, of course, the guitarist extraordinaire, he announces he's doing a UK book tour for his upcoming autobiography. The tour is going to be spanning November and December in the UK. The book that he's publishing is called A Trick of the Memory, the autobiography of Jethro Tull's guitarist, being published through McNitter and Grace, releasing on November 6th. So check that out. Definitely a legendary prog musician, and cool to see what his book will entail and how that book tour will go for him. I wanted to quickly mention Rush adds even more dates to their 50-something tour, a grand total now of 58 shows across U.S. and Canada. I talked about this on my previous episode a couple weeks ago, how excited I am about the new Rush tour. Of course, sadly, we lost Neil Peart several years ago. But they're continuing on with a tour basically in his memory, with a new drummer in tow, Anika Niles. Should be a really great experience, and they just keep expanding it and adding more dates because there's such fervent interest in these live dates. The tickets are notably selling for quite high prices. A lot of people are priced out of the market. I feel a little personally priced out of being able to go, even though there's I believe 4 shows now that are going to be happening in Los Angeles, which is close to where I'm at, but probably not in the cards for me. I believe all the shows are sold out anyways. But anyways, if you are excited, more power to you. I think this is a really exciting thing for Rush fans, and hopefully you're in a position where you're able to go to this. Also, the Pineapple Thief are releasing a compilation of their early years on K-Scope in a box set called Retracing Our Steps, releasing December 12th. And it's going to be featuring the period of the band from 2007 to 2014, featuring albums What We Have Sown, Tightly Unwound, Someone Here Is Missing, All the Wars, and Magnolia, as well as rarities, acoustic reinterpretations, and new stereo and immersive mixes. So an incredible band. This is kind of their premium period here for many people, so definitely a great way to collect some of those recordings. Each recording has been remixed and remastered in 2025 by Bruce Sword and Steve Kitsch. Disc 8, the Blu-ray, extends this new vision with Dolby Atmos, 5.1 surround, and high-res stereo mixes, and the set features a 76-page hardback book written by prog and classic rock writer Polly Glass. Should be a fantastic set for those who are fans of the band. Excited to see what comes from that. I am tempted. I'm interested to check that out as well, so we'll see if that's one I spring for. Quite pricey, but maybe worth it. Available for pre-order on your site of choice. I saw it's up on Laser CD. I'm sure it's on Burning Shed and all of that stuff for those in the Europe region. So should be a fun release for fans of the Pineapple Thief. Definitely worthy of checking out. I also noticed a new band was signed to InsideOut Music. They're called HOLOSOIL. This is a Berlin/Helsinki-based quartet, playing kind of a unique style, very modern, has a little bit of an electronic kind of side to it. A female lead vocalist, I believe, as well, in this group. They have a pretty short single out that I've put on my prog singles list that sounds pretty interesting. So that's one to definitely look out for and check out if you're interested. I'm always curious about any of these new InsideOut bands. The single's called Look Up, and the band cites influences such as Bjork, Mars Volta, Muse, and Tool. So that's kind of an interesting melting pot of some of the most prominent prog-related artists from the last, 20 years or so. So should be a really cool thing to check out, and I'll definitely be listening out. Looks like they're going to be releasing a debut EP in 2026 after the release of 3 additional singles that they'll collect into this EP of their first material on InsideOut Music. So something to look out for, a new band to check out. And then I have a couple more interesting singles that I wanted to highlight here. First off, we've got French prog metal band Altesia share a new single, The Somnambulist Part 1. And this is from their upcoming record, The Somnambulist. I'm really excited about this record. This is a French prog metal band that is right in my wheelhouse in style. You know, they sound a lot like Haken and No Spoon and some of the more prominent modern prog metal acts, but have their own little twist to it. They released a single previously called Her Ghost in Limbo, which featured a smattering of harsher vocals, if I remember. But this new single is very clean sounding, has some jazzier experimentation in some of the soloing, and just sounds perfectly in line with my taste in prog metal. So really excited about the release. It was actually going to be released back in June, I believe, was when it was first announced. But now it's being pushed into 2026, I believe, because of just personal reasons within the band. I'm not quite sure the exact reasons behind it, but totally excited to hear the full record once it's released. And I'll give you more updates on when there's an actual release date in the cards. But fantastic. Check out the single. See if you get as excited as I am if you're into the modern prog metal scene. Speaking of modern prog metal, the Reticent unveil a lyric video for the Scorn, Those Who Don't Understand. This is from an upcoming release from them called Please, which comes out on Generation Prog Records on November 13th. And this is going to be a very harrowing album talking about some very important issues and maybe a bit darker in theme and tone. This particular track talks very seriously about depression. So definitely talking about different battlings with mental illness on this record. They've tackled some pretty dark subject matters in previous records. There's a bit of, once again, those extreme harsher vocals, but I feel like it's balanced really beautifully well with great clean vocals, great meaning. The harsh vocals make sense to me in the context of this song, the kind of anger and sadness and darkness that comes with depression, so it works in that context, and I think this could be a really notable record that's coming out not too long from now on November 13th, as I mentioned. So definitely check out this track and see if it's up your alley. I'm really curious to hear the full record. I think it's going to be a really important one, and one that will speak to a lot of people who suffer with mental illness. Also, Swedish prog rockers Wolverine announced their first new album for a decade. This is a Swedish prog rock quintet signed with Music Theories Recordings. Their new album is going to be called Anomalies, coming out on February 6th. And the track is called A Perfect Alignment in my prog singles list. Been a while since they've put out new music, but they've always been a band kind of on the periphery of interest for me. So I'm excited to see what occurs here on this record. So check out the single to get a bit of a feel for their sound and see what you think about what they're doing. Also, I wanted to mention Caligula's Horse did a cover of Across the Universe, the classic Beatles track, of course. This is going to be a bonus track on their upcoming 10-year anniversary release of Bloom, their third studio record. So it's a re-release. That album came out in 2015, and it was kind of a turning point for the band. So it's getting a nice anniversary edition with 4 previously unreleased demo songs that were recorded in 2015, and has an alternate cover that's based on the original Bloom artwork design. So if you're interested, I love Caligula's Horse. Their recent record, Charcoal Grace, which I believe came out last year, was one of my favorites of the year and cemented them as one of my favorite modern prog metal bands. So definitely check that out. I think it's well worth your attention. And so those are some of the most exciting things that I am aware of in the world of prog and prog metal. Let me know in the comments any news items, any singles, any music that I may have missed that I didn't talk about in this episode. It's well appreciated, I'm sure, by all in the community who read and keep up with the comments. As for the channel itself, like I mentioned, it's been a little bit quiet on the channel. I haven't really done many videos over the past couple weeks. I believe the last video I did was the last New Music Weekly, which was 2 weeks ago exactly. So just hasn't really worked out, as I've mentioned, just based on scheduling, just based on what's been released. But I have some time this weekend. I'm going to put out several videos that I'm hoping you guys will be excited for. The ones I'm planning at this moment, I'm thinking of doing a short episode about The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, talking about the new anniversary edition that has been released. I have a copy of it that I want to talk about. So I plan to do an episode about that, but more generally just talking about my love and experience with The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway and how important of an album it is for me. I'm also going to be doing a review of the new Lunatic Soul record that comes out next Friday, The World Under Unsun. I've been listening to it pretty heavily, and I think it's very special, so want to get into some depth about that record. And I'm thinking about doing an off-the-cuff episode talking about kind of my philosophy about the channel, about what I listen to, about how I care so much about new music, and that's what I want to promote and focus on, rather than continually rehashing old school prog rock. You know, some of those kinds of themes that have been circulating around my head. I talked a bit with my wife about all this stuff, and she suggested I put it into an episode. So I think I'm going to do that and just kind of see what tumbles out, you know, kind of a off the top of the head rant that I'm going to be recording pretty soon here. So those are the things I'm planning on in the near future. I'm also going to, of course, be doing my October roundup of the releases that I've enjoyed through the month of October. That will probably come out not this upcoming week, but the week after, so that I can capture any releases that come out on next Friday on October 31st. So should be a fun time. Hopefully you guys are still enjoying these episodes. I feel like the interest in my channel is slowly like kind of dying off, which is kind of sad to see, but I still love doing it, and I know there's still a core audience that really appreciate these updates and doing these episodes. So don't plan to stop anytime soon. I'm excited to continue forward, and hopefully you guys are having a great time out there and enjoying whatever music you're playing, whatever you're excited about currently. I'd love to hear more about it. So thank you guys so much for all your support, even through these quieter times, even when maybe I don't respond quite as heavily to all the comments. I'm always reading them, I'm always keeping up with them. Sometimes I don't think I'm so great at being responsive all the time, part of my anxiety and all that stuff, but nevertheless, it is supremely appreciated, and I'm so grateful for everybody and the continued support I feel. So thank you guys, and I'll hopefully catch you in a future episode. Enjoy the music, everybody!